All right, let's dive right into this because the battle for AI supremacy is getting intense. I mean, it feels like every single week there's a new champion, a new leaderboard, and a new reason to second guess what tool you should be using. But lately, the noise has gotten really, really loud.
A brand new release has just completely shattered the rankings. We've got one model making a dramatic claim for that #1 spot, and it's sending some serious shockwaves through the entire community. I mean, this is the kind of headline that just stops you in your tracks. And coming from online communities that live and breathe this stuff, a statement this bold, well, it suggests a huge shift in the power balance we've all gotten so used to.
So that brings up the big question, right? Is it time to jump ship? With claims this strong, should we all be ditching our current AI for the new hotness? Well, hold on. Before you go canceling any subscriptions, let's actually break down what's really going on behind all these numbers.
Make no mistake, we're in a brand new AI arms race. This isn't just about small, little updates anymore. We're seeing the major players unleash incredibly powerful models at a pace that is just dizzying.
So the arena is crowded, but today's fight really boils down to three heavyweights. You've got Anthropic's Claude, that's the new challenger making all the waves. Then there's Google's super versatile Gemini, and of course the reigning, and maybe former, champion, OpenAI's GPT. And you can really feel this sentiment building in the community. A lot of users are pointing to Anthropic as this quiet, focused challenger that's just, less about the drama and more about putting their heads down and delivering some seriously powerful results.
Okay, so now let's get into the data that's causing all this excitement. Because when you look at it on paper, the results are, to be honest, pretty staggering. So check this out. There is this test called the SWE bench, and it's a notoriously difficult benchmark for coding, while the latest Claude model hits an absolutely incredible 72.5% score. That's a number that just a year ago felt almost like science fiction.
And we're not talking about a small lead here. This isn't a minor victory. That's a 9-point gap ahead of its closest rival. In the world of AI benchmarks, that is a massive, massive difference. And it's not just a one-trick pony in coding either. You can see it right here in this table. Across the board, from graduate-level reasoning to high school math, it's pretty much the same story. Now, Gemini has a slight edge in visual reasoning, okay, but everywhere else, Claude is consistently crushing these standardized tests.
So, with scores like these, the case should be closed, right? Claude wins. Game over. But, as we all know, what happens in a sterile lab doesn't always translate perfectly to the messy, complicated real world. Each leads us to the most critical question of all. What actually happens when these models have to face unpredictable, real-world tasks? Do those amazing benchmark scores still hold up?
And look, this isn't just a hunch. Researchers, the really smart people, are starting to warn us that our current benchmarks might be flawed. It's like they might just test for a very specific kind of intelligence, like how well an AI can pass a test, which doesn't fully capture what we need it to do in our day-to-day lives.
So to see this in action, the team over at PCMag ran this fantastic real-world test. They gave the top AIs 3 different technical manuals for computer parts and asked a really simple, practical question. Hey, can these things connect to each other?
And the result? It was pretty shocking. Claude, the benchmark champion, completely failed. It just hallucinated an answer, saying the parts were compatible when they weren't. And meanwhile, ChatGPT, the one that's supposedly the underdog now, got it perfectly right.
You know, this gap between the lab and the real world, it's something that actual users are running into firsthand. And it goes way beyond just one single test.
For example, one user was testing these models against questions from the JEE, which is one of India's toughest high school exams. They found that even these top-of-the-line AIs really struggled with the kind of tricky, nuanced problems that need deep reasoning.
And beyond getting answers wrong, users are also pointing to these practical, everyday frustrations. You know what I'm talking about. Things like those super restrictive message caps that just kill your workflow, or the lack of built-in tools for image generation, and of course, those occasional random errors that just make no sense. And of course, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. For anyone who's a power user or a developer, this is a huge deal. AIs charge you based on tokens. You can think of them as little pieces of words. And as you can see here, Claude's top model is way more expensive than its rivals, especially if you're processing tons of information.
So where does all of this leave us? Well, it means we need to stop asking who's the winner and start asking a much smarter question, which is, which one is the right tool for my specific job? Think of it like a toolbox. You don't have one best tool, you have the right tool for the job. So Claude, despite some stumbles, is like your industrial strength power tool for huge, complex enterprise tasks. Gemini, that's your versatile, speedy, affordable multi-tool that's great for all sorts of things. And GPT, well, it's still that reliable, all-around workhorse you can count on for tough, complex reasoning. So here's the key takeaway. There's no permanent best AI. That title is a moving target. The smartest thing you can do is understand the unique strengths of each model and match the right tool to your task, your budget, and what you care about most. And that leaves us with one final thought. In this race, the finish line just keeps moving. These models are going to keep getting better, constantly leapfrogging each other. So the most important skill isn't going to be picking today's winner. It's learning how to choose wisely tomorrow.